What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and this is a theory video. I don't normally do these because normally with theory videos I just come out and talk my mind, and you know, you can debunk my theories a lot because I don't really put a lot of critical thinking behind them. I just like thinking and just throwing random stuff out there. But I did in my last video kind of briefly talk about Luxord, and I randomly was just thinking his card that he gave to Sora, and then in the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 it was stated from, still, like, I'm making this video right after that one, so if anyone did tell me exactly who those characters on top of that building were that are hooded, I'm assuming Master of Masters, but that character did state that you probably can't get back to the world that you remember if you try to leave Quadratum. But my thing is, what happens, because the card that Luxord gives, he says to turn tables. Now, maybe the turn tables is to maybe get back to his original world, because what happens if Quadratum is where Master of Masters is in complete power? What happens if that's the place where it just so happens that they're the creators of, maybe not exactly Zigbar or Lushu, but what happens if it's Master of Masters' creation? He created a place where people that died has a place to go to live, but then he's there to just we see that Heartless there. Why would that be there? It could be because of Sora's Keyblade, because they did say even back in Kingdom Hearts 1 that that's what attracts them, so maybe that's exactly why. But why isn't that's where they're in complete power? And to turn tables, Luxord gave him that card. Maybe that card is his exit out of there, because in my opinion, you know, it's a random card, it's a random gift that Luxord happened to give him, and Luxord is the driver for Sora. That's also kind of a theory. I don't think that's really confirmed, but that's just what everyone in the community is going with, and I also think the exact same because it almost sounds similar too. But if he resides in Quadratum as well, that means he probably got his cards from Quadratum. Now, I didn't look on the face of these cards, but the face of these cards might have a meaning behind them as well. I'm not entirely sure, but if the card that he gave them is a link to his world, maybe he got those cards in where Sora is in his little dimension, where, you know, Riku and Kairi and them, they can get to him, you know, because it was in the Keyblade graveyard. But why isn't that's a link to his old world? So for him to get out of Quadratum, and because the way that Master Masters is making it sound is if he tries to leave, he'll just end up in a different, maybe a different pocket dimension where it's still under Master Master's control and he can never truly leave. At least that's what I'm assuming, because it's just the way he made it sound. He's not going to be able to get back to his original world, at least not yet. But what happens if Luxord's card, that's the link to his old world? That's the link to get to where he needs to get. And maybe when he tries to attempt to leave Quadratum, and then he remembers he has this card, and then that just so happens for some reason, I don't know, but in Kingdom Hearts fashion, that just so happens to maybe open up a portal or open up something or light the way, you know, because one thing that happened, if you guys remember at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, a bottle comes floating out in the realm of darkness, and that bottle was from Kairi, and they were reading it, and right after they did that, and you could technically say that this was a link to Destiny Islands, right after they did that, the light opened up and they were able to walk through to get back to Destiny Islands. What happens if he remembers the card, and then he has a flashback, and he remembers that Luxord said to turn tables, and maybe there's some writing on it, maybe there's something more to the card, on this card, that we haven't truly looked at yet, but he looks at it, examines it a little bit. Maybe he has to go somewhere for someone to examine it fully, or it's just in the brink moment where he has nowhere else to turn. And then another light type way opens up and he's able to leave. It's a far stretch. It's a reach for sure. Don't yell at me in the comment section below. It could be the dumbest theory of all time for sure. However, that card has to mean something. That card definitely has to mean something. And Luxord is the one character that we know truly not his true purpose and what he truly means to the future of Kingdom Hearts. And the fact that he does have a slight, it seems like he has a slight reasoning to being Quadratum, being possibly Zora's driver and probably his guardian, because that was what Core was in Final Fantasy 15. So I mean, at the end of the day, you never truly know. In Kingdom Hearts ways, there's just more that meets the eye with literally every character, every item, every story, just plot point. Like, there's always more to it. You're never done with something that happened in a previous game or previous games. You will always have it come back for some reason, and that card could be the key to Sora getting back to his original world. But let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. I know that theory is probably bad, however, it was on a whim, and then I just kept thinking and unraveling it. But let me know your thoughts down below on it. Maybe give me more backstory. Maybe you know more about the card than I do. Maybe you know more about Luxord than I do. But I mean, hey, I like reading theories. Maybe you got a theory on the card. I would like to know it. So let me know down in the comment section below your theories on what that card could mean. But at the end of the day, I always like doing, it seems like I do one theory video every 2 years, because I don't do these a lot. I think the main reason is because I'm not as creative, and I don't go back and do a lot of research when it comes to just throwing these out. Like, I just like thinking out of nowhere and just kind of chatting and figuring out things. HMK is the person you want to go to when you want to see research and proper theorizing done. And he probably done this before, but with Kingdom Hearts and that little thing that he says in that trailer, I'm like, well, Luxord's card could be the way out, could be the way to turn tables. But we'll see. You know, we got a long way to go for Kingdom Hearts 4, and the hype has just begun. We'll probably have a little downtime from here for a little bit, but all in all, I cannot wait to see what happens. But just let's remember this theory and see what truly happens and see how far off I am. But if you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe, and you guys know the drill. I will see you guys later.